In 2011, I saw you move to a global role
Yeah.
with KPMG. So
Yeah.
that would have ticked your boxes in terms of travel and culture.
It certainly was one of the reasons I took the role.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah.
Was that role based in Australia?
Yeah, so it was Melbourne based. I spent a lot of time on planes at that point of time as well. I had to build out a team as well. So the team was sort of geographically based across APAC. So I spent a lot of time travelling. So I didn't spend a lot of time in Melbourne, but yeah.
Yeah. So did that kind of take you into any places where you'd always been keen to go on the bucket list?
So for me, that role covered all of the Asia Pacific region for KPMG. So, I got to go to places like Taiwan, which I absolutely loved. It would never have been a place that I would have gone to.
Yeah.
Loved Taiwan. South Korea was another one, which was really, really fascinating. I still remember I was walking through the market and I was mobbed by these journalists this gentleman they were introducing me to in Korean was running for mayor, and they wanted foreign people to provide their backing for this person, and I don't even know who he is. He randomly selected me out of the crowd.
There you go.
So South Korea, again, really, really fascinating place, and it's not until you get there that you understand the tension that still goes on between South Korea and North Korea. You walk into the train stations and there's gas masks because they're worried about getting, bombed, and you're like, oh, wow, okay. Philippines, Malaysia, Vietnam. So a lot of that, which was awesome. So again, for me, culturally enriched, and, I loved going in and learning about different cultures and how they operate, and everyone is so different, and especially across Asia, it's all about that relationship building, which again for me is something that...
So that was something I was going to ask you about. What kind of surprised you about working with different cultures?
So there's probably a couple of things that really surprised me when I stepped into that role. One, I went to the Philippines. So again, 2011, 2012, not lots of senior females in those types of leadership roles. So I went into the Philippines. We were doing something like this. So I had to talk about the program and what we were doing and what we were looking to do. And I was working with the production assistant, and he said to me, Tracey, can you not look at the camera? I'm like, what? It's going to be really weird. He goes, no, I need you to look over there. I'm like, okay. And I said, can you help me understand why? And he goes, it's because you're a little bit intimidating, and we want to make sure that... People get to know you a little bit before you look at them directly. And I'm like, oh, okay, radio. So the whole interview, I'm like, very weird. Yeah. So then I went back about 3 months later to do a follow-up, and it was him again. And he goes, you can look at the camera now because they know who you are. I'm like, great, okay, this is a bit easier.
Wow.
So that was really, that was fascinating for me to understand and work out, oh my God, just from the point of view of a female with a, very big personality walking in, and how you needed to manage that with culturally that type of environment. And then I think the other one for me was probably Japan. Again, senior female in a technology role that they hadn't really seen before. And my leadership team had to do a lot of preparation work with the Japanese leadership team to make sure that they were comfortable and ready for me to come in.
Yeah, wow.
And I still remember my global CIO saying to me, Tracey, I need you to just tone it down. Okay.
It's interesting. I don't know a huge amount about this, and I've never experienced it, but I understand that particularly Korean culture is very hierarchical.
Yeah, as is Japan.
So how did you sort of get used to that? Because we're not very hierarchical in Australia.
No. So again, I'd made sure with my team before I'd land in Japan and Korea that I had the background of, the hierarchy. So I knew who was who. We'd have someone on the ground that would help me navigate that as well, that could speak English, which was really, really helpful. But you needed to be really respectful of that. So that was really important that I understood and sort of worked within that framework to ensure, again, it was all about building relationships.
Yeah.
So that was hugely important to respect those elements in doing that.
Yes, that's fascinating. You, a couple of years on from that, 2014, you left KPMG. Was there tears this time? Was it a bit like leaving?
Yeah. Yes, there was. It's a common theme.
How did you know it was time to make that move?